Yo, I tell you what, I bet you didn't know the Black Coffee Chronicles was coming back. To be honest, I didn't know either. But once I realized how many people just absolutely loved what I had to say, it was inevitable that I returned. So here I am, back in the flesh, right in front of your screen, ready to give you all the information I know you need and the stuff I love. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about 10 unspoken rules when going to the gym. Alright, so we're talking 10 unspoken, unwritten rules you need to know when you're headed off to the gym. And the very first one we're going to talk about, don't talk butt naked while you're in the locker room. I'm going to be honest, nobody wants that conversation. It's usually some of the older cats, but to be honest, it's unacceptable. I don't know what happens in the women's locker room, but I know in the men's locker room, I can't stand the day I come in, try to change my clothes, and some old dude wants to ask me questions about my routine, and he's got his wang out. Be honest, it ain't funny, it ain't cute, it ain't cool, it ain't accepted. I'll walk away from you in a heartbeat, I promise. Try me if you want to, you'll find out real fast. Yo, I'm serious, like, I can still remember the very first time I experienced this. I had to be 19 years old. I'm at King's Gym in Solon, if you're hip to it, over here in Ohio. And this old dude walks right out the shower area into the locker area, butt ass naked. And I'm like, what? How is this even acceptable? Like, do he not recognize there's other men in here? Anyway, it put a bad taste in my mouth. No pun. And it was very, very, very disturbing. And I almost didn't go back in the locker room for weeks, to be honest, because I didn't want that trauma again. It's literally like a little bit of what they call that post-traumatic stress disorder. I felt like I had PTSD out here. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about rule number 2. And rule number 2 is don't come to the gym smelly. Now I get it, you might want to say, why would I take a shower before going to the gym just to get all sweaty and go home and take another shower? It is what it is. Nobody wants to smell your offensive body odor, especially if you're a heavy sweater and you don't like to wash your gym clothes. We can smell it, even if you've become nose blind to it over the time that you spent using the clothing that you're wearing, but we still smell it. You walk right past us and it's like, damn.
What is that putrid odor?
Oh, it's that Krabby Patty. What are you doing with that rotten piece of meat, boy?
I've done it before, seriously. I've had to approach individuals on many occasions and let them know, hey, your body odor's a bit offensive. Would you mind at least packing a separate pair of clothes, changing your outfit, and giving us all a break? We all want to breathe just like you. We ain't gotten used to it yet. So make sure you wash up, you're clean, and all of your gym clothes are pretty fresh. Am I saying you gotta wash them every day? Nah, it would be nice, but at least have about 3 or 4 separate pairs that you can swap out over the day, so that way they don't get too rancid. It's like I said, we don't want to smell that. And I ain't shy for one bit. I'll let you know in a heartbeat. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and move on to some of the more serious topics on my list. And not to discredit them last two, because to be honest, they pretty big ones, and they can make you feel mighty uncomfortable if you're on the receiving end of either one of those two issues. But anyway, number 3, you gotta let people work in. Now this is something that typically happens more so at some of the commercial gyms, just because there might be 1 or 2 of some particular pieces of equipment, like let's say squat racks or Smith machines, for example.
I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first, Lucius.
I understand that, and I promise you.
You want to let people work in. Don't hoard the equipment. But there are a few rules that come along with that. So if you're the second person that really wants to get a workout in, short on time, but someone else is using a piece of equipment that you already want to use? Simple. You ask them to let you set in. If they agree, you assume the responsibility of changing the weight from their weight to yours and then back to their weight again, and you're also responsible for taking a similar rest period. You cannot disturb their set because you want to rest less, or you want to rest longer and make them wait longer than they're anticipating to. Don't disrupt the set, but don't disallow yourself to get that work, right? And if you're the one being asked or approached to set in, allow that, all right? You don't want to break up someone else's exercise routine, just the same as you wouldn't want your routine to be interrupted as well. We all want to go in just like a family, get the work done, and get on up out of there, right? I've seen this happen dozens of times, actually quite recently. And one of the biggest things that bothered me the most about this particular altercation was the person who had the piece of equipment first offered the second individual to set in. Hey, you can work in with me if you want to, but that second individual wanted to be a dick about it and say, no, you're over there doing a different exercise as a superset. I'm taking this one. You're done. And that's just wrong. And if you do that in the right place, you're definitely going to be in for a rude awakening and a surprise that you will never forget. But anyway, one of the things you really don't want to do is don't be too rude to where you want to start unracking weights and putting that person who already has the rights to this piece of equipment in danger. Because at the end of the day, we all do this to live safer, healthier, more productive lives. And you will not be the one to come in and ruin that. That's why this one is very, very, very important on this list of things that are just now written on the wall, but you must know anyway. Let's keep moving. Next up on this fine list of unspoken rules that you need to know, put your weights away. Now this is one you'll probably see plastered all over the wall. It bothers just about everyone responsible for going behind you and cleaning up. Now this is something that comes from me being a gym owner, but also being a trainer that have worked in other gyms as well. It's a very big annoying issue, especially when you got this big squat rack machine or you're on a leg press machine and there's 10 plates stacked up on each side, and then you got this little old lady who wants to get on there and do some squats or do some leg presses, and she's got to unrack all these gigantic 45-pound weight plates simply to be able to get her exercise in. That's like pre-workout before the workout, which is unfair, all right? Unload your equipment, put your weights back, and don't expect the staff to go behind you and clean up your trash. Get up, put your dumbbells back on the rack, and keep it moving. Get that work, but don't make us work extra for you. Okay, so the last one we'll cover today in part 1 of the 10 things you need to know when going to the gym is wipe up your sweat. It's disgusting. I really shouldn't even have to say that. That's probably why it's on the list of unspoken rules. But this one I'm going to say very loudly because it's absolutely gross to leave your sweat behind on the bench and then expect someone else to wipe it up for you or just flat out take a seat in it.
Hi there. You want to use the pec deck?
No thanks.
All right? The gym, the fitness routines, they're all very, very, very personal situations. I tried to find the best word for that, but to be honest, sometimes you lay on the floor, you lay on the back, your skin touches things, and it's just nasty to think that some fluid that came out of your body is eventually going to get onto mine. And probably seep into my skin a little bit, which is, it just makes it that much worse when you put that type of thought behind it. So wipe up after yourself, clean up your sweat, because don't nobody want to do it. Now, if you're the type of individual who wears the garbage bags, or you got the sweet sweat waist wraps and all this other crazy crap, and you sit there and you unload all these buckets of sweat all over the place, don't do that. Don't do it on Instagram either. I see a lot of you guys unload all that sweat and just let it hit the floor, just splash. splash, gadoosh, right? You think it's gonna get all up. You think it's not gonna get on things that you can't see, but it is. And like I said, it's gross as fuck. I don't care what type of French you think I'm speaking. I'm gonna say it anyway, because this is my video and it's my show. But anyway, you guys, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up today's episode, part 1. I'll catch you guys for the next one, part 2, and we're gonna cover the next 5. Until then, be fantastic on purpose, folks. Peace.